Today's episode of The Sit Down with Scott Dion Brown is brought to you by Jennifer C. at HomeLifeCultureLink.com, Nino Simeka at MortgageGodfather.ca, and Jewelry Forever at JewelryForever.ca. Enjoy the show.
Broadcasting live from Glenmore Record Studios in Toronto, this is The Sit Down with Scott Dion Brown, your Sunday morning talk show with interesting guests, live musical performances, and the most fun you can fit in your coffee cup. Hosted by Scott Dion Brown and Regine Alaina, this is The Sit Down with Scott Dion Brown.
Oh, what a beautiful morning. Actually, it doesn't look very nice out. It doesn't look very nice out. Now that I'm looking out the window, it kind of looks gray and overcast. But I've got a nice, warm cup of tea, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. Good morning, and welcome to episode 105 of The Sit Down with Scott Dion Brown. And I'm your host, as always, the one, the only, Scott Dion Brown. Hello to you all. Good morning, people who we got here. Crazy Dizzy. Hello, Crazy Dizzy. Hi, how are you, dude? Thanks for tuning in to the show. It's our weekly talk show, The Sit Down with Scott Dion Brown. And thank you very much for the super chats the other day. Once again, really appreciate it. Killer Underground Space, finally I'm on time. Yes, you are. Maria Brown, good morning, Mom. Hello. Hello. Rosanna, today I'm on time. Yes, you are. Good morning, Rosanna. Hello to everybody tuning in. Skull Plush Productions, how are you? This is episode 105 of The Sit Down with Scott Dion Brown. And I'm joined, as always, by the greatest co-host in the entire galaxy, ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only...
Regine Alaina, happy Sunday, everyone. Yes, it's a gloomy day in Toronto, but our show won't be gloomy, will it, Scott?
No, certainly not. It's a bright spot on this gray Toronto day.
Exactly.
But, yes. Actually, I woke up this morning, and it started... I mean, here's the thing. I feel like it's cold outside, but I think it's more likely that it's cold in the condo
inside.
Here because we have all the windows closed.
Yeah.
But it was one of those mornings where I was getting ready and I was just so cold, and I quickly jumped in the shower just to try to warm myself up because I was just I'm so cold. Mm-hmm. I'm just finding it chilly, and then looking outside it's not helping. It makes it feel even more chilly.
Well, I heard your kettle singing earlier, so I hope your tea is keeping you warm.
Yeah, exactly. The hot tea, it's all I have. But how was your week, Regine?
It was very busy, actually. I finally put up my Christmas tree because, right after Remembrance Day, put the tree up. What else did I do? I just been busy with making chocolate bombs. I don't know if you know this or if our viewers know this, but the Philippines is going through it right now. Typhoon after typhoon. There's just so much going on. So I've actually decided to give back with deliciousness treats, and proceeds from one of the flavors is actually going towards the Red Cross and helping those in the Philippines. So that's been definitely keeping me busy. How was your
That's
week?
wonderful. Yeah, the
sorry.
images we've been seeing. Oh yeah, that's fine. The images we've been seeing out of the Philippines have been really shocking. I mean, whole areas are just underwater. You can see houses are just. You basically just see rooftops sticking out of the top.
It was insane, and I don't think I've shared this with you either, but there's a few cities or provinces in the Philippines that were actually I don't remember what the dam is called, but there's a dam there, and because of all the water coming from the typhoon, the government actually released the water from the dam and didn't warn the people in the cities that live there. So there's actually videos on social media that are trying to get media attention for help. Is the water literally spewed into the cities, killing thousands of people, whether it be from drowning or from electricity, or electrocuting them basically in water. So that's been going around, and there's so many audio videos that are released of people screaming for help. And I'm like, okay, this is too much for a Sunday morning. I'm sorry, you guys, but it's not on like main media. So if we can use our voices here to get some help in the Philippines, that would be great.
Absolutely. And so you decided you're sending proceeds. Explain it again. From Deliciousness Treats.
Yes.
You're sending proceeds for.
So for every Milo flavor bomb that is sold, all that money is going towards, until the end of the month, will go towards the people in the Philippines who really need our help.
That's good. Excellent. So there you go, people. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff happening in the Philippines right now. It's pretty rough. So find out about it, look it up, and you can see what's going on and see if you can help in some way as well. Good morning, people. When we were talking about how cold it is, Killer Underground Space says, what did he say? Where did it go? He goes, I feel like if I leave my blanket, I'll die immediately. Yep.
I got a blanket right next to me just in case I get cold.
Yeah, exactly. It's freezing. Sonic, hey, what's up? How are you, Sonic in the house? What's up? What's up? Welcome. Skull Plush Productions. You saw the gaming PC I showed you that I'm getting? I don't know. When did you send that? I don't know if... Anyway, Skull Plush Productions has been getting all this new gear. He's building up his YouTube channel.
Nice.
So, cool. You're getting a lot of awesome gear. That's good. Has there been glitches these past streams? No, last few streams have been okay. We haven't really had any technical issues the last little while, Regine? I don't think we have.
Don't jinx it, Scott.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. Well, Regine. Hey, Danielle Boots is here as well. Good morning. Regine, shall we introduce our guest?
Yes, let's do it. He has a lot to share with us.
Absolutely. I have a bio here for him, so I will read it. Ladies and gentlemen, I will now read the bio for our guest today. A lifetime immersed in the performing arts has made our guest today entirely devoted to the gift of storytelling. Through spoken word poetry and hip-hop, he has taken thousands into his world to experience it as he does. The Scarborough-born poet has performed on stages across Canada, appeared on CBC, and has opened for the legendary hip-hop band The Roots with the Uncharted collective. As a competitor, he has attended the Canadian Festival of Spoken Word in 2014, 2015, and 2017, never having missed a finals stage, winning the championship in 2019. He's also the owner and facilitator of Word is Bond and is an arts educator and event organizer, as well as a member of the Up From the Roots collective and the rapper/producer duo S.O.A.P, or S-O.A.P, which stands for Scribe Onglish Aren't Perfect. His goal is not only to bring his audiences through his story, but to gift them with the courage to do what he calls the bravest act on earth, to share their own stories in their words out loud. Ladies and gentlemen, please, a warm sit-down welcome to Scribe.
Hey.
Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. That was probably the most epic reading of my bio I've ever heard.
Thank you. I tried my best. It was it's a good bio. I will say it's a good bio.
Thank you. I spent a lot of time poring over it.
But you
And also
capture everything. Sorry, Scott. You capture everything of who you are in that bio, but you did miss something.
Yeah, I haven't updated it in 3 days. I also just released my first collection of poetry. It's called Tethered.
Amazing.
Should probably put it closer to the camera. It's super reflective. But yeah, so now I'm also a self-published author, in addition to all of those other things.
That's amazing. That's so cool. Congratulations.
Thank you.
How was it?
So how does it feel to be a... Oh, sorry, Regine. Yeah, you go. Sorry, there's a delay. There's always a delay, so we're always slightly talking over each other.
I just
you go ahead,
wanted
Regine.
to know, how has it gone from doing spoken word in public settings to now having it all written in this new book?
Ooh, that's an interesting question. It's been a process, and it's actually a lot more of a long story than most people would think. I've been doing spoken word, performing poems, rapping since I was like 14, like going into ninth grade. And so to go from performing poems in front of people to writing them down actually took a little bit more mentorship, because obviously you write your poems, but the idea of writing and creating work that's specifically meant for people to read on a page and have an experience on a page is a lot different. I got some mentorship from a really amazing poet down from Cleveland. Her name is Ciara Freeman. She taught me a lot about how to transfer my writing from an obviously emotional place vocally to being honest enough with myself to write down what I'm actually feeling instead of trying to impress people with wordplay alone. And so it was a difficult process, but it was a beautiful process. And I think it really came out in the book.
That's awesome.
Cool. That's interesting. I never would have thought... like when you first said that, I thought it would have been, okay, you've taken some of your works and you sort of just wrote it down, but it never occurred to me that there would be this whole other process, because that makes sense, because if most of the time your poetry was written basically to be performed, I guess it's completely something else, where now you want something where people are going to be just reading it themselves, right? And I guess almost saying it in their own voice when they're reading it. So I guess there's a whole different process involved there.
Mm-hmm. For sure. And I think obviously you write it with some intention, because I'm a spoken word poet at the root. I'm really big into the art of the griot or the griot, which is like keeping track of history orally. That's something I know, Regine, that like our cultures have in common. The Philippines has a really strong presence in delivering orally. So I know like Filipino poets used to have poets to row ships and like do that work. And then in Jamaica for us, it was a lot about keeping track of our family and our oral history and our local history. And so I still wrote these poems to be good enough to say out loud. So like if people, read them, it would still come to life orally. But the main idea is that like it's an experience for you reading them, and like your eyes are engaged differently than your mind would be if you were just hearing the poems. So
I feel like if I read it, I would still hear your voice doing it.
For sure.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean you can't remove the artist from the work. But,
no, you can't.
But it's interesting that the idea that, because now it's in a book, you imagine there are probably going to be some people who read it who maybe they'll come across it not necessarily having heard your voice or having heard you before, and they'll be reading it kind of not knowing necessarily how it would sound with you speaking it. It's interesting. It's a completely different medium. It's pretty cool.
That's so
how does it feel to be a published author?
Pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. It's intimidating, I think, because obviously you say that and people are very impressed. But the other side of the process is that people actually have to read your work. And so, yeah, it's a brilliant feeling. I was really overwhelmed yesterday. I was dropping some of the books off in person to people, and they were really excited about it. But then on the other side of it, it's a real vulnerable feeling. It's the idea of you've shared, obviously, some of the deeper inner workings of yourself and how you see the world and how you see yourself and the things that have happened to you. And that process in and of itself has been a little bit terrifying for me.
Mm.
I was definitely more scared at the release time than I am now. I'm experiencing a little more freedom, but yeah, it's scary. It's scary, but it's also exciting to know that like I have a body of work that I can put in people's hands. It's one thing. Is that me rustling?
Don't hear anything.
I don't know.
Maybe it's on your end. I don't hear
it's
anything.
fine.
Yeah, so good.
I wouldn't worry about it. Keep going. Yeah, we're good.
Yeah, the idea of like, a lot of times people can put you in digitally. So like when I release music or put out a spoken word video or a clip on Instagram or whatever, people can hear it, but they don't own it. Do you know what I mean? They can't take a piece of you home, but now people can have a piece of me with them wherever they're at.
Yeah.
And that is a very, very cool, exciting feeling too. I really enjoy that.
That's amazing. Well, congratulations on putting this out there to the world. And I'm sure you are going to be touching thousands of people's lives when they read your poetry and get to know you more, because you do have a story. And I'm sure there's so many people out there that can relate that don't even know it yet.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
And it's funny, you're welcome, but it's funny because I wanted to have you on the show based on S.O.A.P. Little did I know the weekend that we had you on is the weekend that you're releasing this new project of yours. So congratulations. You have so much going on. How do you manage during quarantine?
I cry to myself and I'm playing. Honestly, I have a pretty good support system in my wife. She's the head of this whole business brain. I come up with the content, I create, I put the hours in, I make it as dope as possible, and then she's like, hey, put your head on straight. This is what you need to do for the logistics piece. At least for the book. And then with music, Onglish is a really great friend of mine. He was in my wedding party, so like we're very close personally. But then the flip of it is that we just kind of push each other. And so I think for me, the idea of balance in quarantine is just being vocal with your supports and having your supports be vocal with you.
That's
a lot of people find like this isolating period very, very difficult, and it is for sure. I got a 1-year-old daughter, and so I've been inside with her and my wife since March.
Wow.
But the process of just being able to lean on people and have people lean on you, at the very least emotionally, has been a good way I've sustained and kept my head on straight.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. I found, it's difficult, I guess, in this time. I mean, I feel like I'm lucky, and I guess you guys as well, that at the very least we kind of live with people, so we naturally have a built-in social little group, at least, even if it's just one person, or in your case now 2 people. I do really feel sorry for people who, when this quarantine hit, live by themselves, because that's the tough part, where we are being told, you can't go outside, don't socialize with people outside of your household, and so I mean, we're social creatures, right? So it's definitely tough, I think, for people who are on their own, I think, to try to find that social interaction. So for sure.
Yeah, I feel like that's where arts come in a lot. Art's been a major comfort for people over the course of this year. The idea that something crazy I was thinking about was the Tiger King was this year.
I know.
Like Tiger King happened this year. And it's so nuts to me to think about the idea that like, wow, we were really thinking about Joe Exotic and Carol Baskin.
Carol Baskin was on Dancing with the Stars.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you watch it?
Yeah, that's
no,
right.
I refused to engage anymore with these people.
She danced to Lion King and Eye of the Tiger. Like, I was like, these people are milking her so much. It's insane.
It was hilarious. I saw the Eye of the Tiger one on Twitter, And I thought, do I click this? I refuse.
I
I'm
watched
not-
it.
Really?
I mean, I watched Dancing with the Stars because Nelly's on it. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I watch it because Nelly is on it.
Did he still wear the Band-Aid?
No, he's not.
Curses.
He's not. But he's still on, and he made it to semifinals, so that's cool. But it was interesting to just watch Carol Baskin dance, or at least attempt to
Was
dance.
she any good? She wasn't any good. I can't imagine. Was she?
I mean, it depends on what you consider good.
I mean, would anybody have considered it good?
She made it to the second round.
Okay.
Counts for
All
something.
right, fine.
There you go.
Yeah, that is weird that was this. That's the thing. This weird is, what's weird to me is that it's that we're spending so much time at home, but time still seems to be flying by so fast. Like usually when you're just sitting, you feel like things would take longer, but I know it feels like that is weird to think that Tiger King feels like it was 5 years ago. I haven't even thought of it in probably now just a few months, but it feels like, oh no, that was just that thing that happened. I don't know. I guess
Or
it's
Love
just such
is
a
Blind
strange time.
happened this year too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Love is Blind too.
I'm so glad I missed. One of the things I tried to do during quarantine was focus on parenting. And like I watched a lot of stuff. Don't get it twisted. But the idea of
You watch Peppa Pig?
I refuse to watch Peppa Pig. I don't want to give my daughter an attitude. That
Or an
scares me.
accent?
Or actually, you know what? If she grew up to have like an English accent, I think that I'd be pretty down for that.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty cool. But the idea of, I don't know, she gets real snarky. Peppa Pig.
Peppa? Really?
Yeah, man. Either way, in this household, we ride or die for Elmo. Sesame Street's the block for us. So that's what we stick to around here.
Oh my god, I can't believe Sesame Street is still happening.
Oh yeah, it's still rolling. In fact, they put out they're still putting out like on YouTube. They'll do like song covers and stuff.
Yeah,
like
and
more recent
episodes.
songs. So
Cute.
yeah, they're still rolling.
New Age Elmo's World. It's pretty dope.
Wow. Did you see
There you
that
go.
Blue's Clues has a Filipino grandma?
Really?
Yeah. And I think she's from Ontario.
That's pretty dope.
Yeah, Blue's Clues used to be Steve, and then Steve went on a hiatus, and then they brought on this new guy. I don't know his name. I think it's actually Josh. Who knows? I could be wrong. And then just recently, they brought in his grandma, who's Filipino. So they're bringing in like Filipino traditions. Representation matters, so I'm grateful that it's there. I'm just gonna put it out there.
Hey.
Wait, so is the host of Blue's Clues Filipino?
Mhm.
Okay. No, I
And
was
so
just
his
saying,
grandma
okay,
is now.
then it makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, I was just wondering what they were. Anyway, yeah, that's cool. I haven't really watched much of Blue's Clues. I'm aware of it, but
It's been a
it's,
long time.
Yeah, it's not on my normal. It's not my normal viewing
I
necessarily.
mean,
rough
it's
with
on
Um,
social media, okay? It's not my fault.
Yeah.
I swear I don't
True
watch
enough, true
Blue's
enough.
Clues. I watch Arthur, okay?
Hey, Arthur's good. Arthur's good. Loki009, hello. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show, everybody. Guys, we're here. If you're just tuning in, we are here with hip-hop artist and poet Scribe. And if you have any questions for him, feel free to ask in the chat, and we will ask. How did you get started with like spoken word poetry, and did you find, were you always into both? I mean, obviously, I guess hip hop, you're rapping to music, and then spoken word is more, it's basically just the spoken word. Did you come to those both kind of at the same time, or did one lead into the other? How did you kind of find your way into that?
It's a very complex question, and I'm glad we have time to talk. Spoken word and hip hop really were both birthed from, well, one's more true than the other. Hip hop was birthed from Jamaican tradition in the Bronx, and spoken word, the way that it connected to popular culture, was through hip hop being born in the Bronx, emceeing. But as a Jamaican, like, poetry's always been a part of my life. And like, I didn't really grow up listening to hip hop until I was like 10 or 11. That's when I started seriously listening to rap records. But I grew up listening to reggae. I grew up listening to disco, I grew up listening to gospel and R&B and soul music, and then on top of that, like my grandfather, he was a Jamaican fisherman, and my grandmother on my dad's side was a playwright and a poet already. My dad was a speechwriter, and so like it's always kind of been with me. The idea of like sharing ideas and feelings through words. But I started taking rap seriously first. I started writing raps when I was 14 in the summer going into ninth grade. I think I said that earlier. A couple friends of mine, we were chilling on our street listening to DJ Khaled's We Taking Over. And my friend was like, hey, yo, we could do this. We could write a rap. And so like what we all did back then. We hopped in my crib and we all listened to the beat on YouTube over and over and over and over again. And they went home, but I kept writing. And then I eventually like finished a full verse, like a full 16. And we came back out the next day and we're like, they showed me their raps and their raps were garbage. And then I showed them mine and I was like, oh, yo, this is actually kind of sick. It wasn't actually kind of sick.
But compared to theirs, it was.
Yeah. And so that was always a thing for me. And then at the same time, do y'all know about Def Jam?
It sounds familiar.
Def Jam poetry?
Sounds familiar.
So it was this beautiful phenomenon. It was late night TV, which meant I had to like sneak downstairs to my mama's basement and watch when I was a kid. But it was just these spoken word poets. And they were just performing poems a cappella. And like, there's obviously like some underground poets who people don't really know. But then like really big names went on there too. Like Kanye West was on Def Jam. Erykah Badu was on Def Jam. Like it was a big deal. Bless you. And the idea of like just sharing your thoughts and your feelings in a very raw way, because that's what spoken word was. It was very lyrical. And so I kind of fell in love with it and started doing it myself when I was like 15. So not too long after I started rapping. But rapping takes money because you need recording equipment, and I was broke. So I focused a lot more on poetry.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And so like falling in love with both of them was kind of like a lifelong experience, from like hearing All Falls Down and like falling in love with like the truth telling of early Kanye, R.I.P. And then moving down the line into like dudes like Shehan Van Cleef or Saul Williams or my mentor Dwayne Morgan, and like coming into finding those scenes and being around those people. And so yeah, it's been like a lifelong process of falling in love with the two of them. They've always kind of been with me, but I came into my own in like my early teens, and then in my early 20s, I just started getting some notoriety around it in the city and across the country. And yeah, I've just kind of blossomed into it from
That's
there.
Amazing.
Thank you for that question, Scott. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. I did want to ask him. I mean, the spoken word part is something I don't really know anything about it. Like, I mean, I know a bit. Like, I write music myself, and so I understand a bit more about sort of the songwriting side, and like, you know, when I write lyrics, I'm writing it to music. But spoken word for me is kind of an entirely other word, like world rather. So when you're, say, creating, you know, a poem that you're planning to perform, is there kind of is there a beat in your head that you're going to, or is there a rhythm that you're going to? Like, how do you come up with, I guess, how do you figure out what you're gonna actually, how it's going to flow, I guess? I mean, I don't know. It's something I don't really know anything about, but I'm curious about what would be involved in creating something like that.
It's a bit of an internal metronome. A lot of people have a lot of different styles. I personally believe in, like, I don't know how else to describe it. I say it out loud as I write it. And the idea of sharing the things out loud as I write them is like I kind of dictate how the flow goes and changes and how to best deliver the words. And spoken word for me, I vary in my style. At my most basic, my rhymes actually pretty much line up with a 4/4 time over hip hop beats, in production. So like my bars are very intricate and very like plays on words and alliteration and rhyming. At the most basic, it's there. And so I can write a beat that's in 4/4 almost any ways. But then when I want to focus a little bit more on metaphors, I kind of step out of that realm and step out of like my rhyming pockets. I know one of the bars from Tethered is like, the details dancing inside, insight, in size, in signs and wonders that only the artist's eyes can see. And so like if I wanted to, I could transmutate that over a beat.
Mm-hmm.
But for spoken word otherwise, and for poetry otherwise, it's more just about like saying it as I go and developing a flow to match the words and cadence. But spoken word doesn't really have rules. That's kind of the main idea. If you're not in a competition, there's no rules. And so you can say and do whatever you want. You can even write it over music, or add music in the background afterward and adapt your flow. But there's no real rules. Rap, on the other hand, is much more structured, and there's rules to follow and all of that.
I see. It's really cool. So when you approach it, I guess, do you is it something like you have an idea of what you want to write about first, and then you kind of see where it goes, or is it more that you're finding words that sound nice together and then build it that way? What kind of inspires you to start writing a piece?
I like to tell people that I search for a truth first. I don't normally kind of just create run-of-the-mill poems. I do that for music. If something comes to me for a song, like I'll hum it, I'll sing it, and like kind of form it into existence, freestyle, until it finally just comes out. Because music, you play with sound a little bit more, especially as a rapper / vocalist. As a poet, there's always something I'm trying to say. And so the process is a lot more like digging. So if I say I was writing a poem about, I'll use the same poem I was talking about earlier. This is a poem in my book called Metal Friends. And it's this idea, I'm writing from the perspective of my poetry books, my empty poetry books. From when I was a kid, these notebooks that people would give me, but I never wrote in them. Because I wasn't trying to write. I was hanging out and doing stupid stuff. And one day I got jumped. And I was like, yo, I need protection. Like I didn't have anything on me. I got robbed. I need protection. And so like,
oh my God,
I got like knives. I started like carrying knives and chains and like weapons on me.
Holy crap.
As a kid. And the idea of the poem is this core idea of like, I was trying to make myself feel safe by keeping things on me that made me feel dangerous. And so that was the truth of the poem. And so that was the truth I was trying to get out. When I'm creating a poem, the idea is you search for a core truth and you try and explain it to people. And then once you find that core truth, the next thing I ask myself is, what is the point I want people to carry home? So what's the core truth? I don't feel safe, or I didn't feel safe unless I felt dangerous. And what's the lesson I wanted to leave people with? This isn't necessarily the path you have to choose. You can choose a safer path to help you express yourself and to feel free from these things. And so the idea is that like at the end of the poem, it's just my poetry books telling me like, hey, when you're ready for us, we're over here. You can write, and then we can introduce ourselves to the world in this way. So yeah, that's the idea, that you get to develop, you find the truth, and then you figure out what you want to say to people with that truth.
Wow.
Makes sense. And I guess the message is way more important, I guess, in spoken word. I mean, it's important in music as well, but like I can think of a ton of songs that I listen to that I don't even really know the lyrics to, because you just get into the music. But I guess you can't really passively listen to spoken word, because there's a message there that's that's the message is almost everything, right? I mean, there's a lyrical aspect to it as well, but the words are very important, whereas you can't really, you don't just listen to the beat and, there's, what is this song about? I guess the message is very important to it.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why spoken word and poetry has, I think, a much smaller audience than music does. And I don't find that offensive at all. It's just some people want something to listen to that's not going to make them think about their life the entire time, which I don't blame them for at all.
Yeah.
I'd say my music, it's still like, again, Onglish is a fantastic producer, so like people can mindlessly listen to our music, but because of the tradition of spoken word that I carry, and because of the roots of hip hop that we try to honor, we very much keep the same competency and focus in our music, but we also want to make it pleasurable for the listening ear. So like you can tune out and just bob your head, but if you listen, there's still something to be said there.
Yeah, get a lot more out of it. Yeah.
And speaking of your music, should we listen to your music?
Yeah, I'm all about it. I'm here for it.
All right. Yeah. Yeah, we have a snippet here actually. It's in fact, yeah. So you sent me this clip. So why don't you set up like what is this clip that we're about to see, and then we'll show it to everybody.
All right. The clip you're about to see is the first verse from the third track on my album, Scribe Onglish Aren't Perfect, aka S.O.A.P. And it's basically a song about getting money, but there's purpose and there's intent to it, because when I was writing this song, I was about to become a dad. I was like on the way there, and it's like, yo, I need money.
The truth comes out. Okay.
Yeah. But also the idea of like spitting game because I work a lot in communities, spitting game to people about how money works. The first bars, I don't want to give too much away before you listen, but hustle stacks the money fast, budget takes the bread far. And like spitting the game of like, yo, you can work hard for your money and bring in fast money, but like the money doesn't go nowhere if you don't budget it. And still making that a catchy bar and like moving from there. So that's where it starts.
Cool. All right, let's check it out. Here it is.
Hustle stacks the money fast, budget takes the bread far. Hungry like my Muslim brothers before they break for iftar. Hungry like hyenas in the flames before they ate scar. Handle all my bills and throw some bills inside my tip jar. Racks like ribs, don't touch the meal till it's seasoned. We ain't chicken but dodge the pigs and beef like we vegan. All Canadian money, my wallet look garden salad. I'm trying to thicken it up, make the pockets look DJ Khaled. I need a big amount, I'm trying to make a dent. I'm gonna raise a kid while they raise the rent. Look at what I did, look at what I spent. Big amount, cut the check. I need a big amount, I'm trying to make a dent. I'm gonna raise a kid while they raise the rent. Look at what I did, look at what I spent. Big amount.
And there it is. That was a verse from Scribe, ladies and gentlemen. So that was the first verse.
That was the first verse.
Cool.
I love the video. It's very catchy.
Thank you. Onglish is a genius. And I personally think Onglish should have been famous he should be famous first off. And I don't say that about white people in hip hop a lot, but Onglish should be famous. But he's just super creative, and we did all of this from like the ground up, no budget, no nothing. So like I literally recorded that video squatting in front of my daughter's crib with a tent over it, in a blackout room with a flash recording me. And then he turned that into that.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks really cool. The visuals are really cool. And I love that when you say, filming video, like I create a lot of video content. It's funny, if you ever watch somebody creating video, it looks so weird in the time of doing it, but then it's amazing how awesome like the finished product can be.
Yeah.
You know? So yeah, it's really effective. Like that Canadian money, it's like a garden salad.
Yes.
It really is.
All Canadian money, my wallet look garden salad. I'm trying to thicken it up, make the pockets look DJ Khaled. Yeah.
I love the
And
little
so that's,
snippets too. Like all like the hyenas and legit this garden salad and DJ Khaled just making an appearance.
Yeah, super funny. Sky, you were...
So that's is that part of a larger album? Because I know, there was a date flashing there kind of at the end, because that was like a trailer, right? So that's part of. So tell people What is that part of?
So that's part of our debut album, S.O.A.P. It came out October 13th. So it's been just a little over a month now since that project dropped. It's 8 songs. Onglish and I, so the reason it's Scribe and Onglish Aren't Perfect, or S.O.A.P, is because we don't see it as like Scribe's project or Onglish's project. We really work as a single unit in a single mind. So big amount, the chorus you heard, I need a big amount, I'm trying to make a dent, I'm gonna raise a kid while they raise a rent. He wrote that. I wrote all the verses and like I attuned the hooks that he wrote, so like I kind of straightened them out a little bit. And there's a couple that he wrote on the project. I wrote, I'd say like half the hooks, and then he wrote the other half of the hooks, and then I wrote the verses. But then even on the beats, like I have contributions, and like I'm saying, like, this would sound good here, this dropout would work here. And we really approach all the music we make together as like as a single entity. And so that's why it's under both of our names, Scribe and Onglish Aren't Perfect. And honestly, it's, in my personal opinion, one of the best pieces of music to come out of Canada this year. And it takes a lot for me to say that. It's 5 years of blood, sweat, and tears perfecting a sound and losing files and all sorts
Losing files?
Yeah, all sorts of drama. This album,
Oh, gosh.
yeah, we started recording in 2016, but we started writing it in 2015 after I put my first album out. My first album wasn't very great for a plethora of reasons. It was like great writing, but I recorded it in a very empty, non-soundproofed room. So like props to the person who mixed it, but there was not much they could do with it. And then I hadn't developed a sound yet. But the beat selection I had for what I did was really good, and Onglish produced most of it. And so we decided, hey, like some of the songs we worked on, we were able to really like build into something together. Why don't we keep doing this? But when we recorded in 2016, we were almost done the album. I think we had like 3 to 5 songs left to record, but they were all but 2 of them were written, and the files got corrupted, and we lost everything.
Oh, no.
And I think that happened twice. And so like we went through the process of like making more beats, making more songs. And some of the songs on our project now, the one that just came out, there are 3. Funerals, Interlude, and Great Death. Yeah, Funerals, Interlude, Great Death, and Vices. There's 3 songs that have pieces of old songs in new ones. So Great Death is the only song that's survived in its entirety. And by survived, I mean like he had to make a whole new beat twice. And then I re-recorded the song, but it's the only song with all of the lyrics still intact from 2015 when I wrote it. And then the Funerals Interlude is a piece of a much longer song that didn't survive either. So like we chopped up the remaining vocals. We tried recording it again, but the magic wasn't there. So we took the old vocals, Onglish made a new beat, cut it up and threw it in there. And then in Vices, I had did like in the earlier album, I had done a song called Scarborough Romance, which was like an ode to my hometown, to Scarborough. And that song didn't make it. It was completely obliterated. There was no getting the files or the beat back. But the end of the song, at the end of Vices, I say, all they see is drugs and the dealings, shooting, stabbings, and killings. Leave it to the masses, they gonna paint us all as villains. Even when the victims is children, they blame civilians, gentrifying neighborhoods to buy inside the buildings. But we're more than that, more than hammers set to clap. We the Northern Renaissance to put the city on the map. And then like that piece was something that was super important to me. And on Vices, like when I started talking about the gun violence in Toronto, that was something that was really important for me to say. So like you can critique the culture of gun violence, but also speak to the people who are most affected by it. And that really shifted the focus of the song for me. So I wanted to put that piece in there.
Cool. That sounds. I mean, the idea of losing everything. It's like I like, putting in work, and I'm willing to do, all the hours you have to do. But there's nothing I hate more than having to redo something.
Twice, Scott.
Like that
Twice.
Yeah, that just must have been awful. Well, especially because when you're doing something creative, right? Like, it's like you take this time to, make all these mental decisions and try all these things, but trying to then recreate that, I mean, you can't really, right? Because whatever decision you made in that moment was being impacted by whatever you were feeling in that moment, right? And now trying to get it back, you're like, so yeah, hearing you say like, yeah, there were some that were just gone and there was no, because you're like, how do you do that again? Like, how do you take myself back to where I was? I'm not there anymore. I'm here now.
Yeah. Yeah, that was very difficult. Onglish is the saving grace in that project, and that's what makes us work together so well. Actually, he would say that I am, and I would say that he is. It's part of the was that we had to keep finding ways to make things new so that we didn't lose all of our steam. And the songs that didn't make it were songs we just couldn't breathe the life back into. So that's like Big Amount was its own thing. Even though Big Amount went through like 4 beat changes too. Ounce was its own thing. And then Opening and Closing were their own things. Am I missing any? And Crashing. But even Crashing went through edit. Like, it's just the idea of like, does this still mean enough to you to bring back to life? And Great Death, which is the 6th track on the album, we fought through that joint. The energy, like, so I wrote it with a certain energy, and the first time Onglish ever got to hear it in person, because I never sent him a recording of it. I went all the way out to Hamilton because he lives in Hamilton. But the night before, I had like my life threatened, and so there was like a particularly.
Wait, what did you just say?
Yeah, like I had my life threatened, and I don't want to like go into the details.
Okay,
of it.
it's okay, but I was just like, wait, did I hear that right?
Yeah. So like the whole idea of the song was like me, like scared of dying before I got these records out and like started saying my piece and started putting my poems out. And it was like a real fear I had, especially when I wrote it. And so like to have that experience the night before I was supposed to go record was like driving the energy of the song. And then we lost that file. Like, like the delivery, the energy, and the urgency was all there, and then the file got corrupted. And so we just had this MP3 keeping the song alive. And like when you go to re-record it, how do you reanimate that feeling?
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah, Onglish just brought it back to life with by changing the beat and like enhancing it and like adding organs and like extra piano keys and chime bells. And I'm like, whoa,
he's a magician.
Super different. And then I was able to like summon something different inside myself in response to his changing the beat. And that was able to like bring a new energy to the song.
Wow.
Where can people find it?
Everywhere. I've given Regine a link, but also you can find it on Spotify. You can find it on Apple Music. You can find it on iTunes. You can find it on Bandcamp. You can find it probably on Bandcamp. Is a beautiful.
It's a musician hosting type site, so you can put your music there. Anyway, yeah, continue. Sorry.
Yeah, it's on Bandcamp. It's pretty much everywhere you can grab music. I think. Let me double check so I don't miss it.
Give us the name one more time, just so people who are tuning in they can they know what to search for.
So S.O.A.P. Scribe Onglish Aren't Perfect. You can find it on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube. It's a little bit of a trial run, but you can try. Tidal, YouTube Music, Deezer, Google Play, Bandcamp on either mine or Onglish's. And you can find these links on my Instagram profile as well, so you don't have to search too hard. Excuse me. Cool. But the beauty of having things like streaming platforms and all of that stuff is everybody can hear it from wherever they're at. Yeah, so awesome. It's all there.
I was listening to it when I was getting ready this morning.
There you go. That's good. And I was going to say I'll add the link in the description down below of this video. So if you're watching this not live, you should be able to scroll down there right now and find it, because it sounds like a lot of sweat and pain went into the creation of that album several times, which even just thinking about it now, it's giving me like anxiety because, well, it's why like now I have like all of my projects, especially ones that I'm still working on, like I've always got like multiple hard drives, and even when I'm holding them, I'm always so careful when I move them around because I'm just like, no, there's so much time and money in this. Like the worst part is knowing that there's stuff in there that it's like, if I lose this, it's just, there's no getting it back. Yeah, I could try to recreate it, but it's gone. Like this can only be created once.
Yep.
And like I'm almost like you could steal my entire you could steal all of my equipment, but please just like leave this hard drive. Yeah, because I cannot. I can replace all of that. It would suck, but I can't replace what's on this.
Okay, just to clarify, guys, do not break into his place and steal all his stuff.
Yeah, ideally.
Okay? That wasn't.
But if you have to,
an open invitation. Don't do it.
like leave the hard drive. You're not going to get anything for that hard drive, but geez. Oh man.
Yeah.
We need a save for
the hard
that.
way.
Yeah, exactly. Regine, we should probably do the ad break and then
Sure.
come back with some more.
Sounds good.
Okay, yeah. Let's do the ads. And by the way, hi, Ice is here. What's going on, Ice? How are you? Nightwolf is here as well. Hello. We're here, guys, with hip-hop artist and poet Scribe. And once again, if you guys have any questions you'd like us to ask after the ad break, we will ask them because we want to hear from you guys. But first, ladies and gentlemen, today's episode of The Sit Down with Scott Dion Brown is brought to you by some very important people. Wouldn't you say so, Regine? Mm-hmm. They are, of course, our advertisers. And let's hear from them now. Hey, Regine.
Yes, Scott.
Do you want to find out what your home is really worth?
Maybe.
Are you buying, selling, investing, or renting a home?
I might be.
Then Jennifer C., Realtor at Home Life Culture Link, is here to help. Call or text Jennifer today at 647-403-8887. Don't deal with just anyone. Speak to a professional. Jennifer C. at Home Life Culture Link. To see her current listings, visit homelifeculturelink.com. The Mortgage Godfather is here to give you advice with any mortgage needs you may have, and he will shop to find you the best mortgage. Nino Saimeka, Mortgage Agent. He'll give you an offer you can't refuse. Regine, he'll give you an offer you can't refuse. Find out more at mortgagegodfather.ca or call 905-604-6955. Jewelry Forever. Conveniently located at CF Markville Shopping Center on 5000 Highway 7 East Markham. They do custom-made jewelry, repairs, and change watch batteries, all done on site. Jerry over at Jewelry Forever is an absolute artist. If you have an idea for a piece of custom jewelry, he is the man to create it for you. Or you can head into the shop and buy some of their already created beautiful pieces of art.
Yep.
You're sure to find something beautiful for the special person in your life. And we have an amazing deal worked out with them right now, don't we, Regine?
Yes, we do, Scott. If you guys let them know that Scott and Regine sent you, you'll get 15% off your entire purchase.
That's right, 15% off, 15%. It's an incredible deal. Let them know Scott and Regine sent you. Mention the show and get a great deal, 15% off. And this store is open now with COVID safety measures in place. So put on your mask, head on over to Markville Shopping Center in Markham, and get yourself something lovely for 15% off. Find out more at jewelryforever.ca. And it was brought to you by Deliciousness Treats. Sweet treats in a mug. Regine, tell us a little bit about Deliciousness Treats.
I keep forgetting that this is here. Yes, the Deliciousness treats are chocolate bombs that are homemade and just ready to warm you on the inside. There's 9 different flavors, everything from classic to Rolo and After Eights, which are my absolute favorite. Scott actually has a video out on his Instagram, so make sure you check it out or follow us, deliciousness_treats on Instagram or deliciousness treats on Facebook. They're the perfect portion for your afternoon or morning pick-me-up. And if you're looking for holiday gifts, I will actually be launching them all this week, so stay tuned. And as I mentioned at the top of the show, proceeds from our Milo Deliciousness Treats bomb will be going to helping those who need it the most in the Philippines.
There you go. Deliciousness treats, everybody. Sweet treats in a mug.
Mm-hmm.
And I can say firsthand, deliciousness. Deliciousness. And yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, we're back. We're back with hip-hop artist and poet Scribe. And hello, Zai Zai. Welcome to the stream. Hello, how are you? Smash that like button, by the way, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, we're back. And
can I just say,
deliciousness treats are good,
Scribe,
Regine.
I love
Sorry,
your
continue.
glasses.
Oh yeah. Good segue, Regine. That's right. I forgot we were going to talk about those. Yeah, tell us about the glasses. But also then anyway, yeah, tell us about your glasses.
I will do that. So these are my C Clairs. They are blue light glasses. I don't make these, so like I'm just a poet. I'm a musician and a writer. But my friend Brandisha Sinclair, she created these C Clair glasses to help you, beautiful folks at home who do things like do workshops or work from home sitting in front of your computer. These joints are protecting my eyes. This is what I look like without my glasses. But this is also what I look like taking in blue light, depleting my mental health and harming my eyes. This is what I look like when I'm keeping myself safe. And so, yeah, I rock these because they're very stylish. They've been a real help because the first few months of the pandemic, I was sitting in front of my screen trying to figure out what to do, trying to, grab an online workshop here, teach a poetry workshop there, write a grant here. And it was just really straining. And I just started feeling really down. And then I found out about these joints. And I used to think it was like a mental thing, but I had like a weaker pair of glasses that weren't doing it for me. And then I got these joints, and aside from obviously looking fantastic, they really help my eyes like hold up. And I just don't experience the same amount of strain that I usually do. And they're just great for screens. So if you obviously I'm going to plug my friend. So grab your C Clairs. But if you do anything for yourself over the course of this pandemic, grab from a small owned business that's doing these joints, because it will help you a lot, first off. But then second, it'll probably help the people around you who have to deal with you, because being sad and cranky and having your eyes sore is just not a way to live. Yep. I don't personally encourage it. Yeah, that's what these joints
I
are.
like them. Like, I have a pair of, they're dirty. I have a pair of blue light glasses, and I do find that they help, but I like yours better. Mine are pink. That's the only reason I got them. It's because they're
that's
pink.
Kind of fire.
See?
Yeah, I know Brandy has all sorts of shapes, frames, and now colors.
Nice. Does she have pink ones?
Pretty fire. I don't know. I will find out for you.
I'll look for it myself. Don't worry.
Yeah.
I have been thinking about whether or not I should get some of those, because I've been spending a ton of time in front of screens. I've been live streaming. I mean, a lot of people in the chat. Hello, all of you people. In fact, besides I just saying, Scott, you look so different without your glasses. You could fool some people. Yeah, I guess I would. But I usually wear sunglasses on stream, and it's because of the light. But I'm sure some of the irritation is just being in front of a screen, and I've been debating whether or not, I've heard of the blue light glasses before, but I was never sure if is it real? Does it do stuff? But you guys are saying they really do help.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm not the type of person to buy into anything without the pressure of 8 people around me being like, hey, this really, really works. But I tried them out and they do, so.
I find that especially because when you're looking at your screen especially with you, Scott, you stream for 3 hours a day. Plus you edit
5 hours sometimes.
Jeez.
5 hours a day, plus you do your
Dedication.
editing on your screen. Like, I find if I'm looking at my phone at night, I definitely struggle to fall asleep. But having the glasses on, which I should do more often, definitely helps.
Yeah. And then on top of that, like, just thinking about the physical, like, output of your eye, the amount of time. I should probably list it like, this isn't a paid partnership. Like, no one pays me to do this. Like, this is like,
Yeah.
I've never
Not
gotten anything
sponsored.
for plugging these joints. Yeah, I just really, really do appreciate them. The physical strain on your eye and how your vision actually weakens when facing LED light and blue lights. None of us are getting any younger. So,
Yes, we are.
yeah, so it's good to just take care of your body.
All right, so I'm gonna have to check out some of these blue. All right, I'm gonna need to get to that info from you after the show about
Will
these
do.
the sea clairs. I wanna look into these.
And I think
'Cause it
it's
might be
great.
time.
Yes, Scott, it is time. You've gone 9 months now of staring at a screen for 5 hours a day.
You're a gangster for that. I don't have that kind of self-control.
I mean, it helps. Like I said, like I've been wearing like these most of the time, which I mean, it's helping with this light here, but the blue light I'm pretty sure is just.
I wonder if they have blue
So-
light sunglasses that you can wear, Scott.
I would almost like that even more if such a thing exists. I don't know, but
Just for
That
streamers.
might be.
yeah, but it would even be good just to have a pair of blue light glasses. Like even if I'm not on stream, if I'm just editing, because that's true. Like even when I'm not streaming, like basically my day is
Sitting in
during
front
the
of a
day.
computer.
I sit in front of a computer editing videos, and then at night I'm in front of a computer live streaming. So if I could have something to kind of protect me from having my eye sockets
Scribe
just
is like,
become
what
burned
the
out.
hell?
You know, that's real work, man. And like, if I think about it, if I'm being honest about like my screen time and looking at the reports from my screen time on my phone alone,
I hate looking at it.
I'm probably spending an equivalent amount of time passively. You know what I mean? So
I'm the same way, and I hate now with the update on your iPhone that you can see every day how many hours you're on your phone. I'm like, stop reminding me, okay?
oh man,
Get it.
my wife puts me on blast. Says, how much time have you spent on Instagram?
Oh
What do you
God,
do? And then I'm like,
you can see it. It tells you.
every hour and minute.
The
It's
worst.
raw. So
I'm scared to see that. I'm not. If that information is available on my phone, I don't want to know. I
I'm
don't
gonna
want to
search
know.
for
Like,
I'm gonna search for it. I'm gonna Google how to find screen time on a blue. Oh, do you have a blue? I was say blueberry, a blackberry.
BlackBerry. On my BlackBerry key too.
I seriously was gonna call it a blueberry. That's funny.
On my Blueberry. On my Blueberry. Oh, you know what I've been doing lately? I've been watching. Me and my girlfriend went on a Disney kick. We've been watching a whole bunch of the old Disney animated movies,
Nice.
and it's been great.
I
We
would
watched
love-
Beauty and the Beast. Oh yeah, sorry, what were you gonna say?
I would say I would love to know for the both of you, because I feel like you've been asking questions and I haven't asked a single one. What's your top Disney and or Pixar?
Oh God, don't ask this question. Okay,
Oh, no,
I
Go,
am
Regine.
obsessed with Disney. We actually put up our tree, as I mentioned, and I have a lot of Little Mermaid ornaments on our tree. I am a Disney princess at heart. I don't care how old I am. I will forever. Like I was telling all my bridesmaids, when the world opens up, we're going to Disney for my bachelorette. I don't care about the other stuff. I just want to go to Disney. My top Disney princess. Okay, I'll do princess first. Obviously, Little Mermaid, Ariel, because she's on my tree and she's staring at me right now. So if I said anything different, she'd probably come attack me.
Nice.
Pixar. I love all of them, but I definitely love A Bug's Life. I hate bugs, but I love A Bug's Life. Like I could watch that on repeat. Yeah. Sorry.
Actually, wait, A Bug's Life came out the same time as Ants, right? Remember that when it came
Yeah.
out?
Yeah, that was
I don't like
it was like
weird.
I don't like ants.
I kind of liked Ants more, if I'm being honest.
We
but-
can't be friends anymore. Goodbye. I'm turning this off.
But Okay,
Why?
so and what was your favorite movie was Little Mermaid, Regine?
I love them all,
Disney.
but
Little
I
Mermaid
do
and A
like.
Bug's Life.
But I also.
But if you had to pick,
I also like Moana. I also like Coco. Like I just. Oh, have you seen?
so you must choose one. You have to choose
I
one.
can't choose one.
You must choose one.
I can't.
You have to.
And-
Desert
No.
Island, one disc.
No.
One disc.
Um,
One disc on the island.
Shut up.
You can pick and or Pixar. So if you pick one Disney and one Pixar, A Bug's Life and
Okay.
Little Mermaid work out.
I'm gonna have to say it because literally, if I could show you my tree, Ariel's literally face where she's staring straight at me.
Nice.
How about you
You
guys?
know the answer.
I know.
Scots.
All right. You want to go first?
No, I want to know Scots.
Okay.
Star Wars.
Well, no, I don't. Really, I don't. I know Disney owns Star Wars, but I don't.
It doesn't count the same way. No.
Yeah, no. Beauty and the Beast for me is the best Disney animated movie ever. 100%.
Ooh.
I watched it the other day.
You have a thing for Belle,
And-
don't you?
Oh yeah, Belle is. Yes. So I mean, I guess now we're also picking our favorite Disney princess. It's Belle, hands down. Belle is amazing, and she's so
Belle's
pretty.
smart.
And she's also very smart, yes. But yeah, Beauty and the Beast is my favorite. Favorite Pixar movie? I want to say
Obviously not Bugs Life.
Toy Story,
Ooh.
but
I like Toy
the thing
Story.
is, like, Toy Story, I still really remember, like, I feel like it was so amazing to see it because that was like the first like computer animated movie that was like, I was like, wow, it blew me away to see it.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, Up,
Ooh.
like really,
Just the beginning.
I was
of Up.
weeping in the first 10 minutes. Yeah, the first 10 minutes.
Yes.
And I'd never in my entire life seen a movie that made me cry off the top of the movie before. You know, so
It's-
that kind of like,
It's so good.
I'll always remember that feeling. I'm not sure if I like it more than Toy Story necessarily, but I guess it did affect me more emotionally. So if I had to pick one, Toy
That's not. You
Story.
can only pick one.
Yeah, so Toy Story and then Beauty and the Beast is my favorite.
Word.
And Belle is my
You know
is
what
my
I saw?
Disney princess.
You know what I saw? There's this girl on YouTube. She creates films or videos of food. She's a foodie, and she did like a 24-hour challenge where all she ate for 24 hours was Disney princess food. So she made the gumbo that Tiana made in Princess and the Frog. She made the smiley face porridge that Mushu made Mulan in the morning. Like, I was like, I want to eat like a Disney princess.
Mm.
Did she make any of the stuff that Belle ate? At
I think she did.
VR
She
guest
did.
scene?
She did. I just don't remember what it was.
Them ones.
Try the gray stuff. It's delicious.
I think that's what she made. How about you, Scribe?
Plus, she doesn't. Oh, yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
I know you guys have been watching a lot of Moana at your house, right?
Oh yeah. Baby Z loves Moana. She loves it off. I'd say this is hard.
Is that her in
Just
the
like-
background?
Yeah, that's her. So my favorite Disney movie. Okay, my favorite Disney princess. I'll start with that. Is
It
Kida.
doesn't have to be a princess.
Well, I'm sticking with princess. It's
Okay.
Kida. It's Kida from Atlantis.
Ooh,
Oh, that's a
Oh.
good choice.
Yeah, Atlantis is
Yeah, I like
super
that.
underrated.
it is.
But also, like, The Lion King was the first movie I ever watched, and it sticks with me. My dad was in the Broadway for it in Toronto, and so like,
Shut up, really?
yeah,
Really?
in the first Broadway
cool.
in Toronto, he was the understudy for Mufasa.
Oh my god, that's
That's
awesome.
awesome.
It's like super cool until you watch your dad die like 6 times.
Oh,
So it's like I have some
Yeah.
deep-seated
Yeah,
childhood
yeah.
trauma behind that.
oh my god.
But also, it was like really cool to see him like come back as the giant lion head
Yeah.
in the sky. So like, yeah, I think I'm gonna say Atlantis, but
Okay.
like Lion King's right there.
Yeah.
But then Pixar, it's a really hard pick between
It is.
The Incredibles
Ooh.
and Monsters Inc.
Ooh. Those are good.
I think I want to, like, becoming a parent has drastically shifted the way I look at Pixar movies because they're all so traumatic.
Yeah.
Like I was watching Finding Nemo with my daughter the other day, and like the first 10 minutes of Finding Nemo, I was like trying not to weep. Because I'm like, oh, he lost his wife and all of his kids.
His children, I
Except
know.
one. And then again, when Nemo gets captured by the fisherman, you're like, yo, like if someone rowed a boat away with my kid, I would be livid. Like, what
you're
would
on
I do?
daddy mode.
Anything. Yeah. So I was like shook up, and I'm like, I can't watch the rest of this movie. No way.
So how did you feel when the little girl was shaking him in the bag?
I
that
couldn't
freak you out?
When I say I stopped watching the movie, I was like, nah, she can watch this by herself. I'm gonna look at my phone because I can't emotionally handle this.
You know what's also a great Disney movie, now that we're talking about it? Aristocat.
Aristocats was so good.
Love that.
Oh, yeah.
Very underrated.
Aristocat and Oliver and Company were my go-tos as kids, and I rewatched them like recently. Love it.
Super crazy. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Monsters Inc. for my favorite Pixar.
Nice.
Just because of like the twists with the boss and the laughter being more powerful than fear, and like all of like the little corporate messaging.
Oh, you just go deep into it. I'm just
This is my poet brain. So like I dissect art a lot differently now than when I was a kid. And so like you put Monsters Inc. in front of me, and I'm like, oh yeah, there's all this idea of like, yo, your employees are like semi-miserable and like always scared because of human contact. And then you find out human contact isn't a bad thing. Actually, laughter powers way more stuff than fear does. And so like your monsters get to do way more fun work for way more profit. And like you think about the work week and all of this stuff that they were low.
You just went right into it.
Yeah, that they low-key delivered to us over a decade ago. And like it actually turns out true. Companies with shorter work weeks and shorter hours have more productive employees because their employees are happier. And so like all of that stuff, it was in the messaging years ago, and now it's popping up as like this new innovative idea, and artists are like, actually we could have told you this a decade ago with the kids movie, but you weren't paying attention. But also the idea of
true. They do say that like even on with your standard like 8-hour day, most employees are only really productive for like a short part of that.
Yeah.
And so companies could do a lot better if they if you shorten things, but sort of create an environment where people can really be productive in those moments when they actually are, being productive. I think it can actually be a lot better for them. Yeah.
Before you get
Ice
really
says
deep
his
into
favorite...
this. Oh, sorry.
Oh, yeah. Oh, sorry. I was going to say, Ice says his favorite Pixar movie is Toy Story 2. It's another good one.
That was very good.
Before you guys get really deep into it, have you seen the new Christmas Disney advert?
No.
Ooh, what is it?
It's a story about a Filipino family and their grandma.
Oh.
I cried. Okay, you guys, I know I mentioned it on the show a few weeks ago. I did lose my grandma recently, so when I watched that, I was sobbing uncontrollably. Thanks a lot, Disney.
It's a new movie coming out?
No, it's just like an advertisement for the Christmas season.
Yeah, they have killer ones.
Man, it hit home so hard. Someone's calling.
Yeah, it is the love of my life.
You can
mute yourself. It's fine.
Cool.
She's probably, I need your help.
But so Regina, it was like it's just like an ad advertising the Christmas season?
Yes. And it's cool because they do talk about, or they showcase the Philippines and the Philippine heritage, or not the Philippines, but like the Filipino traditions during Christmas time. So like the parol, which is this paper star that just lights up, and just showing the importance of family and the importance of a grandmother and a child. And so to me, that a grandchild, and that like struck my heartstrings real hard. So if you haven't seen it, clearly, Scott, you should definitely watch it. It might make
Was it on YouTube? Like, where did you see it? Where did you see it?
Everywhere. It's on Instagram, it's on YouTube, it's on Facebook, it's on Twitter. You're too
Why
busy
didn't I see
streaming.
it?
You're too busy streaming.
That's true.
Yeah,
Well, Disney, hurry up and send me the ad, Regine. I mean, Disney.
I'll send it to
Send me the ad, Disney.
I'll send it
Oh, yeah, okay, you can send it to me, too.
Now that you've said it, it's gonna pop up on your phone in a few minutes.
That's true, yeah. It's listening anyway, so it'll be like, it's all I'm going to see. I'm going to see Disney ads for the next 3 weeks. Hello.
You're gonna see
Hi,
Disney.
welcome to the stream. Hi, how are you? He's good. That's good. Everybody, welcome. We are here. If you're just tuning in, we're here chatting with hip-hop artist and poet Scribe. And if you guys have any questions for him here on our episode of The Sit Down with Scott Dion Brown, feel free to ask them. You know, one thing that, Regine, after I watched Beauty and the Beast, I immediately right after started the live action one. Because I wanted to see I just wanted to see, how does it feel seeing them one after the other? And I could only watch about 5 minutes. It really, watching the original magnified how much I dislike the remake.
Oh.
Deeply.
That's a real thing. The nostalgia's cut, right? So.
Well, it was the same thing with Lion King. I felt that Lion King.
I didn't like Lion. Yeah.
The animated version was so much better than the live action one.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
There was an edit on Twitter I saw and Facebook not too long after it came out. And there's this idea that they were so focused on making it realistic when all they had to do was add just a little bit of cartoon feature.
Or for Lion King.
Yeah.
Lion King. And it would have been so much more magical.
Yeah, because the animals had no
explosion.
Yeah, they had no emotions. It almost, you know what it felt like to me? It almost felt like there were scenes where it didn't even feel like the dialogue and the music you were seeing had anything to do with what was on screen. Hakuna Matata, it just looked like a nature documentary was happening while the song was playing.
Yeah.
You know, there was no. And yeah, you're exactly right. The animals don't emote the way humans do, but you need to. You gotta find some way, or else it just doesn't work.
Well, okay. Have you watched Jungle Book, the remake?
Yeah, I actually didn't mind it. I didn't mind that one.
Lion King.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
The first one, right?
Yeah.
Jungle Book.
Yeah, because there was 2 Jungle Book ones apparently that came.
Oh yeah, that's true. Oh yeah, that's right. They did. You mean you're talking about the one there was?
The Disney.
Yeah.
I like the Disney one.
No, they were both Disney, I think. But no, the more recent one was the one they did where Mowgli is like a kid, because they did one years ago where he was a kind of a fully grown man. Is that the one you're talking about?
No. Like the one where he was a kid.
Yeah, the one he was a kid. Yeah.
But
I thought that one was good.
Yeah, and I think part of what it was there was grounding in the human element, and there was a person on screen whose emotions you could see very clearly, and the animating of the animals was still they put emotion into the faces.
Yeah. Yes. Yep.
And so there was still a humanish element about the animals you were seeing, even though they looked very realistic. And you lost that in The Lion King. It wasn't the same.
110%.
Yep. And also thinking about Beauty and the Beast is the thing that I realized seeing them next to each other is for me. Okay, so Beauty and the Beast for me is the best Disney movie ever made. That's my opinion. But it's also it's the only Oscar nominated one, right? So it's other people's opinion too.
Fun fact.
But as far as I'm concerned, Beauty and the Beast is pretty much a perfect movie. It's got all the right beats. It moves the right way. The flow is there's nothing that I would feel the need to add to the movie. But the remake added an extra 45 minutes. So it's the opening song starts, and in the original, it's the dialogue fits perfectly in the music that they have it. And you meet Gaston, and it establishes he wants to marry Belle, and then you meet the townspeople, And
Spoiler.
The live action one, they were like, hey, let's take this movie that's already perfect and add a bunch of extra crap. It's just, I don't know.
That's fair.
It bugged me.
Well, I know you
It bugged me,
didn't
Regine.
like Aladdin, but I I
didn't like Aladdin either.
I love the remake of Aladdin. I watched it twice in theater.
Wow. I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
But that said, I never even watched Aladdin. Like I watched pieces of Aladdin.
Theater?
Yeah, as a kid, like I never even watched the full movie of Aladdin. I watched pieces of it at a time, and so I know the story. I know at some point the genie turns red, but like there's no real attachment to it for me.
You know what?
Oh, wait, you haven't seen the original Aladdin?
Never in one sit down.
Oh,
I actually haven't.
it's a good one.
Good one. Sorry.
Yeah, I watched The Prince of Thieves.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, that was the third, the Disney sequel. Yeah.
Yeah, but I barely remember it. I think just because
It was.
Go ahead.
It wasn't bad. It was I remember the Aladdin sequels were the first time they ever actually did a Disney sequels. And Return of Jafar, I mean, the animation is not at the same level as other Disney movies. Like none of the made for straight to VHS ones are, but I would say Return of Jafar is pretty good. And I didn't mind the third one either, the King of Thieves. But I would say, for me, there's a peak Disney animation studios where they kind of were the best that they ever were. And those movies would be Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, Lion King, and Aladdin. I would say those four, for me, are like the pinnacle of where Disney Animation Studios ever was. I mean, I like all of them. Well, actually, not all of them, but there's a lot that I really love. But I would recommend checking out Aladdin. It's just, it's worth the watch.
You know what I want to see as a live action is Princess and the Frog. Just because it's based in New Orleans. Like I would just love to see all of that go down.
Yeah,
I actually haven't seen Princess and the Frog. I never saw it.
Sorry?
Sorry, which one?
I wanted to see Atlantis in
live action?
In live action, because that was actually that was a very sick, like the special effect. Like it would have to probably be like, Disney would probably have to like tune up the rating just a little bit.
Yeah.
Just because like some grimy stuff happened. Like do y'all remember the Leviathan?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So like half a platoon of people get taken out underwater by this alive machine thing that just blows up a bunch of people. And as a kid, I was like, yo, this is super cool. And then I watched it as an adult and I'm like, that's super dark. And then like when they kill the king of Atlantis, like that was super hectic. It was just a lot of death, but that would be super cool as a movie. And then I just watched The Princess and the Frog.
You just watched? Oh, I guess you.
Yeah, I just wasn't interested as an adult. Like I wasn't trying to see it. And then I had a daughter and I'm like, hey, let me watch this movie. It has some great musical numbers and stuff too. But the edit of that, like, I mean, the frogs would be weird. And so would the gators playing the trumpet in the swamp.
Imagine like seeing an actual human kiss a frog.
Yeah.
But I just want to see it.
That's the thing. I'm kind of in two minds, right? Because you're right. It's like on the one hand, I'm like, yeah, I would love to see that done as like a full big budget movie, and let me see, But then seeing what they've done with all of the other remakes, I'm like, maybe just stop. Yeah, just stop. Like,
I agree.
Leave it alone.
I feel like
that it's gonna stop. It's like they have nothing else to do.
No, they're not. They're not gonna. I think they've got plans to like for the next decade or so. They're gonna keep churning them out. Now it could be because I don't actually. No, they are doing pretty well though. Like I didn't like Beauty and the Beast at all, but it made like over $1 billion or something.
Yeah.
So it did well. Like I'm in the minority when it comes to that. I think, but
it's a weird wave with art though. I feel like, even in music, I think about hip hop records and like sampling and all of that stuff. And there's so much recycled material. A friend of mine, he did his master's on this apparently. But the idea that we actually have a 50-50 split of recycled material and original material still coming out of studios.
Oh.
We're just we have an internet generation that's so aware of our material that we see that and we're like, oh, that's a remake, that's a remake, that's a remake. But we've been getting remakes for decades and from Hollywood. But in music, I think about things like, I don't like this dude, but Tory Lanez, he sampled the T-Pain record. Basically his whole album is samples.
Ariana Grande did the same thing with that. What's that song? The Seven. What is it called? I'm not big on.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Seven Rings.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a 2 Chainz sample. Oh no, the video was like a 2 Chainz sample.
But she took parts of Sound of Music and put it into.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dun 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 dun. Yeah, that's it. The entire idea of like recycling material and sampling material, hip hop especially, is like grounded in that. There's so many samples from so many places, and so like I don't want to condemn it, but there's certain things that just shouldn't be redone. There's like some classics you got to leave alone.
Yeah.
You know what it is? I think it's I think it has to do with, one, like how well it's done, but two, I also think it's I think maybe like usually whether or not it goes over well is kind of what's the, I don't know, like the spirit almost behind it. So for example, if, you know, when Ariana Grande grabs from Sound of Music, for me that feels kind of like she's almost paying homage to it a little bit. And I feel like it's also came out so long ago that there are genuinely going to be people who
don't know,
maybe haven't seen it, don't know anything about it. And so she's kind of almost opening up a potential new audience to it. That's in my mind, that could be what she's doing. But my problem with a lot of the remakes for how they're doing now, because we're in this remake generation now, is that they're creating things that, you know, it's not like they're doing it for people who have never heard of it, because they're purposely choosing stuff that's about 20, 30 years old. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to grab people who saw something as a kid and will now go see it again because they remember it from when they were kids. And the part that bugs me about it is that then when they make changes and the people who are adults now complain, they're like, why are you guys complaining? This is for kids. And it's like, no, it's not. You're not. You know what you're doing. You're not making this for kids. You're making this for the people who had it as kids. Yeah. Because you want us to bring our kids to it. That's what you're trying to do.
Like Toy Story 4.
You know, if you were just... Sorry?
Like Toy Story.
Well, all of them.
Yeah.
But it's like, I feel like it's for... The reason behind it is just money. Like it's not artistically grounded.
Yeah.
They're just repackaging it, right? They're just like, okay, what was really popular? Okay, let's just grab this and push it out, you know? Whereas I feel like there's almost no good reason to remake a movie, but if you're going to, it should be something like that movie came out 70 or 60 years ago. Most of the people who are fans of it, they're all long gone now. Nobody remembers this anymore. Let's bring this to a new audience. But that's not what we're seeing now. That's not what they're doing. They're purposely choosing things that are like, hey, nostalgia's big right now. Those people will remember it. Maybe they'll bring there and they'll come see it again. Yeah. And then they're never as good as the original. So I think it depends what the motivation behind it is, and if it's done well. I mean, if Beauty and the Beast had been amazing, I wouldn't have a problem with them remaking it, but now I'm just like, no, I'm just gonna watch the original. And if kids are gonna, if somebody asks me, should I go watch the new Beauty and the Beast? I'm like, no, just go watch the original. That's what you need to watch.
I mean, that's a genius marketing tactic, though, because now that I think about it, Disney Plus is up, and it's like, hey, I didn't enjoy that as much. Let me run back to the original and run up the streams for that one joint. Man. Yeah. But I think that's part of the beauty of people who love art for art. That's like my main thing is I never want to make a bad piece of, oh, wow, they're really watching Finding Nemo right now. Trying to break my heart. The idea of loving art for the masterpieces that they are and like appreciating them, we have the ability as consumers to like say, hey, this really doesn't speak to me, please stop doing that. And demanding and enjoying new things and creating the little niche markets that they'll come back for in 30-40 years for their money grab, but we get to enjoy them in the pockets that we get them. Which is actually why I prefer Pixar's stuff right now over Disney's animated stuff, just because they keep innovating.
Yep. I agree with that.
And pushing that stuff forward. I really enjoy it.
Because Pixar is very much a because they were their own thing, and then I think Disney bought them. But I think one thing that's cool about Pixar is I think they've almost defiantly they've kept their independence from the rest of Disney. So like apparently even with the original Toy Story, one thing I heard about it was Disney wanted them to make it a musical because they're like, oh, musicals are popular.
No.
And the people at Pixar were just, they said no. They're like, no, we're not doing that. And apparently that's why even for the longest time, Pixar never put out any sequels, right? Because I think even though there was pressure for them to do it, they pushed they kept their artistic integrity. And what I like now is even the sequels that they have done eventually, they're still like, they're not cash grab sequels the way like a lot of the straight to VHS Disney sequels have been, like Cinderella 3 or whatever. They work well as good movies and they actually advance the story. So I like Pixar has done a good job of maintaining quality, and I think they only really put out projects that, it seems to me anyway, that projects that they're passionate about.
Yeah, man. Even
so that's why they're consistently good.
Sorry?
Yeah.
I thought Frozen 2 was going to be a money grab.
It was
And
good.
I've watched Frozen 2 like 8 times in the last 2 weeks. Shout
He
out.
has
There you
a
go.
daughter, okay?
I have, yeah. I've watched Frozen 2 way more than I watched Frozen 1, which is 4 times. But it's because he likes it, but also like there's really great messaging in Frozen 2.
Mm-hmm.
And like the idea that, again, like Pixar, and like this is kind of the idea behind, just to tie it back, like the idea of, for me, the album is I want to make something almost like cinematic every time I do it.
Mm-hmm.
And like really give people an experience and like bring them through the roller coaster of emotion. And like Pixar, if I could be like any artistic film group, somewhere between Christopher Nolan and Pixar, and the stuff that like I explore and work through in bars. Pixar's always been great at storytelling.
Well, it's exciting.
I love Christopher Nolan. I'm so glad you mentioned Christopher Nolan.
Yeah, he's my favorite.
He's mine too.
Hey.
Did you see Tenet? Have you seen Tenet?
Yes.
Me too. I went and saw it twice.
Oh man, I need to see it if I can see it once these things open up post-COVID. Man, Tenet broke my brain a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Broke your brain.
Well, because what the thing about Christopher Nolan movies in general is they are purposely designed, like you need to watch them a few times. Because I remember it was the same thing for me with Interstellar, same thing with me for Inception, where it's like I watched the movie, I understood the plot, I was amazed. But what I realized is, even as you're like on your way home from watching one of his movies, you start to realize more and more things, and you realize how much more complex the story is, and also there are parts of the story that you don't necessarily fully understand, and you almost have to go back again
Be like
and watch it again.
Yeah.
So Tenet, so like I said, in fact, Regine and I have talked about it. Like I'm particularly paranoid in this world of COVID, and I could never even fathom going out in public to a lot of places. But I went out and watched a movie in a movie theater for Christopher Nolan's Tenet, and it was good. The way I did is I bought my ticket like in the middle of the day on a weekday, so it was like me and like 3 other people in the entire cinema.
Mm-hmm.
And it's actually weird going to the movie theater. Like the movie theater itself, the lobby was empty. Like you're in this giant, multiplex theater, and there's like you and like 2 employees. It's such a strange thing to do. But anyway, Christopher Nolan was the only filmmaker who could make me do that, and I went and saw it twice, and I actually almost want to see it again. Like Tenet was so cool.
Yeah.
Theaters are closed again. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, it was super nuts, and like I could talk about entropy for hours. That also ties into my book. Funny enough, the last poem of my book is about why I think people see time weird. Like our culture has a really terrible concept of time, and that people think time passes us by, and time doesn't pass us by. You're sitting in time, being swept along with time, and your time is going at the same time the time is going. So it's not like, hey, I wasted a day. It's no, I am gone a day. Like your entire life is caught up in time, and every second you go forward, time's going forward too, and eventually you're gone, but the river keeps going. That's what time is. And entropy is the breaking down, which is like the entire concept of Tenet. It's that like your cells count down and break apart into chaos. That's what everything in existence does. It breaks down into chaos, and eventually you decay, right? That's the idea of of entropy and human, like physical existence in the universe. That's the law. Everything breaks down towards chaos. That's what entropy is. And the idea of Tenet was that like someone had found a way to reverse entropy, like the breakdown of your cellular existence, which technically can bring you back through time. So like if you're going back through time, you can reverse your entropy and continue to travel backwards through time, which basically de-ages you, which isn't a concept I can get into right now. But like the
deep sci-fi stuff.
Yeah, but the idea of you going through time and breaking down, which is what your body does as you age. The idea that like we waste so much time thinking about the time that's going by instead of living as if each moment is the only moment ever that we're going to get. So like the seconds we're spending right now speaking on this podcast, they are never going to re-exist. They're gone. Each one.
That's 95 minutes gone.
True.
Of your whole life.
But well spent. People.
Exactly. And so like if we're gonna do these things, like make the moments and the possibilities of this moment count. So like I'm speaking to Scott, who I don't think I've ever had a full conversation with prior to this moment. I'm speaking to all of you who are live with us right now, and we're talking about these things and sharing about stories and connection and art, and all of these moments count towards something. They're not useless moments, but if we're present for them, they matter. If you're present for all of the moments that you're here, they matter. The moment you check out, there's no getting that moment back. The rest of the world, just like you, has experienced that moment all at once and it's gone. But to be present and to be active and to hold on to the things and the people we love and the experiences we love, those things all count. And we only get them once. So each time be present in them and don't think too much about what's going on outside of it. Look ahead for sure, plan ahead for sure, but don't forget to live in the now.
And
that sounds like a perfect place to I feel like that's a perfect message to end the show on. That just seems perfect.
So Scribe, where can people find your book, your music, you? How can they keep up to date? I want to get a copy of your book. Where can I get it?
So if you're looking to keep up with me, the best place to do that, you can find me on Twitter or Instagram or on Facebook if you add a backslash at This Is Scribe. If you're looking to keep up with my music, I have link trees, all of that on my profile. If you look for my book, you can find it at thisisscribe.com. Go to my shop and Tethered will be there waiting for you. You can order a copy, and myself and my lovely wife, we will mail that out to you wherever you're at. And I think the next place you can see me perform, which is very important, it's a digital show called When Brothers Speak. It's the 21st edition, held by my mentor and one of the greatest poets to ever come out of Canada, Dwayne Morgan. That's being hosted at cya.com. I'll have that link in my bio available as well. And that's going to be showcasing some of the best poets from Toronto and from LA doing our thing and sharing stories. It's a group of Black male poets. And it's going to be a really dope show. Myself, one of the young poets I mentor, Akil Elijah, is in it. One of the greatest to ever do it in the world. Ian Keteku is a part of that show. Ed Marbury, I believe, is going to be there from LA. I don't want to say his name wrong again, so I don't want to re-enter it. I know Nigel from Toronto is going to be there. It's going to be a fantastic show. I can guarantee that. And it's only $20. Usually it's way more expensive, but because it's online, we get to greet y'all in the ether. I'll have the links for all of that to you ASAP.
Perfect. I'll also share, I know I've seen it on your Instagram, so I will share it on our social media for everyone that's interested. Scribe, thank you so much for being with us. You're such a dedicated and positive person, so to have you join us on this Sunday and spend, 99 minutes of our lives in positivity. Thank you.
Thank y'all for having me. I really appreciate it. It was an honor to be here.
This was a great chat. I really look forward to this Sunday morning because you never know where the episode's going to go. It's always a fun chat, but I mean, we hit so many things. Disney, Christopher Nolan, music, art.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
great chat. This was really great. I really enjoyed it. And yeah.
Thank y'all.
And the information for your book is on your website, as you were saying already, where people can find it. Just
Yeah.
want to make sure people know where to find the book as well.
Yeah, this is scribe.com. It'll be
Cool. All right, I put the link in description, everybody.
I'm
sweet.
gonna search for it right now.
Yeah, if you're looking
Right.
straight to the book, it's at /store. But yeah, it's all there.
All right, awesome. All right, ladies and gentlemen, all of you guys, you could have spent your Sunday morning on any website in all the land. You could have gone anywhere, but you chose to come right here. And for that, we are eternally grateful. Sonic, have yourself a great night. Ice, take care of yourself. Nightwolf, hello again. I'm sick. I had to go take some medicine. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. But we are doing well there, Nightwolf, and thank you so much for being here. And I hope you feel better. And Ice, thank you. You got more licorice for me. Thanks, Ice. All the licorice I could ever eat. Thank you. I love it. We've been chatting over streams about snacks and all that stuff. All of you guys, thank you guys for tuning in. And this was a wonderful episode. Guys, we'll see you all next week. Scribe, thanks again for being here.
Thank y'all for having me.
Thanks. Oh, wait. We've got Regine. Where can people find you?
It's okay. We could have ended it. You guys can find me in the description below. Yeah.
Me too. Yeah, our links are down below. Regine just put out a new video on her channel, right? Make sure you guys subscribe to Regine's video channel as well. You did a review of a transparent
It's an unpigmented foundation. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. I'm learning things about makeup from Regine, which is very interesting.
I have a few other videos coming up. Don't worry, Scott. You'll learn a lot more.
Excellent.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Guys, thank you all so very much for being here. I'll be streaming Brawlhalla tomorrow night, and we'll see you next week as well on the Sit Down next Sunday at 11 a.m.
Yes,
So,
we'll see you guys soon. And make sure you grab a copy of Tethered. Tethered.
Tethered.
Can't speak
Tethered.
anymore. Thank you again, Scribe. See you next week, Scott. Bye, everyone.
Yep. Bye,
Peace.
everybody. Bye.
Bye.